part two of the video that I just did. Um, Old lady crossed the road. Um, and also the start of the Sarzac chapters of this story, because here I'm going to be splitting off, and Sarzac is going to have his own story in this. So anyway, um, where we left off is they were explaining. They were in a council meeting, and there was explaining to the king that he went with his brother to truly find out who killed his mother, and to put in for and to explain to him that his brother-in-law wasn't the one that killed his wife, but somebody else. After everything was said, he understood what was going on. Well, getting back to where we was talking about. So anyway, we basically have intelligence says there's a group of people that is wanting to take out that group, or want to cause war across the entire world, so it's easy pickings for them when they show up. Or at least that's our reigning theory at the moment. They're starting with the humans and demons because we've been at war. They've been at war with each other for so long that it's not even funny, and that there's still a lot of hate across the board. He's like, yeah, and then with the queen being killed by a demon too doesn't help anything. And a lot of the nobles hated the queen because she was a demon herself, which not many people know, and everybody in this room is bound to keep their mouth shut too. And they all they heard was, "Sir, yes, sir." Frank twisting his eyes, like, I already knew that, but okay, let's go on. And he's like, okay, so what are you wanting from us, Lunar? Sarzac pipes up. For one, we're wanting to start a adventures to expand the Adventures Guild outwardly, and actually not be just human or just any one territory, but it actually be a identity all to itself. Is like, excuse me, even and you've been talking about this for a while. How in the world did you get somebody to convince you to? He looks down and he's like, "Shut up, Rick." He just shook his head. Well, basically, we're wanting to start. We're wanting to take the Adventures Guild out of the human lands in general, and to explain using this crisis in itself. That we do not give any one country anything. If they're at war with each other, you can hire our people from each side. That's up to you. Just like always. Just like you were hired to bring here. But if they don't want, if they refuse, they're not obligated to be forced to. He looks and is like, I can. The reason why we want this is so we can establish a border, and to actually establish all the way across the field that to actually have a fighting force on hand to fight something like this. And we're wanting to go ahead and get the brass tacks done now. For when we find out who's actually doing all this, we have a force that can fight that isn't in any one country, but in the significance of the entire world itself. He looks down and is like, that's actually not that bad of an idea. To have humans, demons, demi-humans, and races of all kinds all the way throughout the entire world being able to help with everything. He squints and is like, that's a. So, how do you think we're going to go ahead and do this? It's like, we already have a rough plan. Um, but I was thinking that me and Sarzac, the real Sarzac here, can actually start getting everything going. Sarzac rates up as one of the reasons why I think that is because he has a fighting force all on his own. I mean, he could conquer this world if he wanted to. Don't have any. He doesn't want to by any means of the imagination, but. And he would also be a good asset anyway. And what we was planning on is setting up, starting to set up bases all the way throughout the entire globe. And also getting, as we're setting up this stuff, we're actually collecting some information too about what's going on. That's going to be shared between all kings after they're been evaluated. Evaluated. Sarzac, this is where you take it. And he was like, I have a artifact, so to speak, that allows me to detect evil presence and stuff in people. It it's basically a it has the ability to rate they're good, they're bad, if they're under control over somebody else, and if there's a parasite, and it lists out. Generally, it lets them know if they can be trusted or not to a certain extent. What do you mean to a certain extent? I mean to a certain extent. I mean it's impossible to know every little bitty thing about everything. Too many things can evolve. Too many things. But for in general, we is also able to detect some of the same demon presences in um the rating party. Plus, the same thing can be said about the fake demon lord Sarzac. And combining my power already, and I think that we actually have a real shot at getting this off the ground. And basically stating that the Adventurers Guild would have an authority of a kingdom all on its own. And it looks over there at the Demon Lord, and I also want you to bring back this information to the Demon Lord too. I know him, actually. He's actually really good people. Like, wait, the demon. How do you know the Demon Lord? I'm a wanderer that's literally immortal. Demon Lord likes to actually spar with me from time to time because I'm about the only person on the. A very short list of people on this planet at the moment that has connections or is powerful enough just to be able to spar with him. And if he kills me, I'm immortal. And he looks back and he tells him this code. He's like, if you tell that to him, you'll know that it's me. He looks at him funny. He's like, really? That? Oh, so you've read part of the codes before? He just shakes his head. Yes, I will let him know. If he kills me, I'm going to come back and haunt you. No, matter of fact, I'll go ahead and curse you with a death curse of infertility. Whoa. Don't need to do anything that drastic. Well, now trust me, he'll know that it's me. He better. Well, after the demon general lasts for a minute or two, um, come out and actually say, all right, so what is Lunar planning on doing? Lunar speaks up. Me and Sierra over here are actually gonna, and as Sarah brought up, and my bodyguard. Sarah spoke up for a second. Bodyguard. Don't worry about it. Just letting you know there'd be 3 people instead of just 2. Are going to be investigating this area and also doing some goodwill across the demon continent as well. Saving, doing what we can to divert the stuff that's going on, plus trying to figure out what's happening. To what end? So we can actually figure out if our theories is actually correct. Because if it is, this ain't just a this world problem, but a everyone's about to be wiped out across the universe type problem. You know, oh, the demon looks over and most of the all right, one thing that I do need to explain to everybody in this room. We're on one planet. There are billions of different planets across this universe. Sarzac, and even myself, even though I was born here on this planet, both of my parents were from different planets. Even where I'm at is actually kind of like a gateway to some of the different planets. One of the reasons why my village was tucked away safe. And then all of a sudden, this one of the captains that were in the room got this little smirk across his face. You could only see it for a second before, but then immediately looked over, and then poof, all you saw was a red mist. The king was like, "What the fuck?" And everybody was like, "What the fuck just happened?" Everybody, it was like, "Whoa!" Looked over at Sarzac. Please tell me I got that correctly. I got that same sensation. You know, you could have probably. No, he's too far gone. His soul was eroded. Looks. Right, you have. Yes, it's part of the thing that happened to me. As soon as it latched onto a detail, it actually basically did what your device does, and well, all the humans in the room was like, calm down. He was a traitor. and then proceeded to have every fact that he was a traitor across the room, a human. He was pure human too. He wasn't demon. After explaining all the details of what happened to everybody, it's like, all right, we've known that there's a traitor in this group for a while. We just couldn't figure out which one and his. But after saying a few high ranking things, we figured it out. And he was planning on bringing it back to his masters. Matter of fact, they would have probably already knew about it if it wasn't for the force field around this place. He was like, oh, okay. Keep in mind, he also has that ability to fix things within time. She has that ability to cut through the shit, and that's why everybody believes her straight up. So keep that in mind when I'm talking about all this. Well, every like I'm what? The king was like, why do you guys believe her? It's like my ability that I just told you about just a while ago. It's able to cut through the shit. The only reason why it ain't with you is because you're through a call. Well, with as much as he did know her, which he knew her quite a bit. One of the reasons how he met his wife, one of the reasons why he started to be wanted to actually protect everybody in general was all because of her and her ideas and stuff. Well, anyway, going back to the story at hand. Um, so the plan is we're going to keep investigating, keep creating goodwill throughout the Demon Continent with the Adventurers Guild because we're both, or all three of us, whoever the third person is going to go along and create a whole bunch of goodwill so we can get this set up in the Demon Continent. Because I almost guarantee the Demon Lord is getting pissed off too. So just like so basically what you're saying is you guys are gonna split up all in all different directions and going to expand the Adventurers Guild. From this day forth, the Adventurers Guild will be treated as another country that doesn't own any land except for the places that are. And our goal is to be basic mercenaries. And then our secondary goal is to protect the world to keep anything like this from happening again. He's like, affirmative. Frank even said that. So, what do you want us to do on our side of things? Other than actually listen to the Adventurers Guild, looks at him for a second. And all of the people on our side look at him for a second, except for the Demon General. He's like, understood. And we're also going to create. And looks over at Sarzac and is like, Sarzac spoke up, and everybody looked at him. He's like, and I'm also going to be creating a method to be able to communicate with holograms across from country to country so we can actually, and throughout the Adventures Guild, that all the proceeds and all the stuff will actually go through the Adventurers Guild. He's like, That's actually not that Wait, you have. Yes, I've had the technology for forever. Don't want to bring out more technology in a lower end place without good reason. Because you, of all people, know exactly what happens. Like, yes, I understand. Everybody looked curiously. It's like, you knew the king? Yes and no. I've actually never met him before, but I do. We have talked. That's why it was also one of the reasons he believed that it really was me, and the reason why he actually sent out this force is because of that um same issue. Well, anyway, Lunar looked at him for a little bit. Long story that doesn't really need to be gotten into. Alright. Well, and secondary too, if if she finds out if it's something off world, those we're probably going to send one of the somebody with her from one human and one demon as well from this army um to create a full party, and even if the stuff takes her off world, um they're going to find to the thick of it. It's like, off world? Do you really? Yes. Her job is to create goodwill between everybody, and her main job is to find out the truth and to eliminate any possible evil. If you eliminate it at its source, you cut off the funding, no matter who they got to break down things, gonna have a hell of a lot tougher job to actually um if all funding gets cut off, all their abilities get taken away, all their tech gets shut down. So yes. And Sarah has been in this fight longer than any of us have. If it's who we think it is, through her um stuff too. The king crinkles his eyes for a second and is like, okay, understood. He's like, everybody good hunting. Then everybody, and then the device shuts off. Um, Frank, like, I'm not going. He laughs for a second. But I'm going to send you with my son. You have a son? Lunar said. Who the heck would want to do anything with you? He's like, he just drops his mouth like, that was just mean. I mean, look at it from my perspective. You were always a pest. Just looks at him and is like, I know you could kill me with just a flick of your finger, but fuck you. She laughs for a second, but alright, so why would you want to send your son in specifically to go with me? Like, for one, he does have command in our army, and he has been wanting to get out to be an action adventurer for years, and he's also somebody that kind of a loud, outspoken. Best way to describe it is kind of a rebel general. He's out, outspoken, suave, um, very intelligent, and he uses intelligence as a weapon more than his actual skills, fighting skills. But his fighting skills are almost on par with mine, as it is. And I haven't been able to beat him in any sort of contest, no matter if it's fighting or not, since he was 5 years old. And he's about 20 right now because he knows how to use his intelligence as an asset to actually do things. He uses his intelligence in battle. I mean, this guy, but because of his personality and his laid back nature and his love of music, what's his name? Well, his name is Jimmy, but everybody calls him Thunder. Um, Named after some old scripture. So, yeah, but he's a real mess. All right. And the demons, have you thought of sending anybody? Yes, I also want to. He ain't my son, but he's my second in command. He's kind of a best, uh, kind of, he's just a basic hothead, but he has found ways to use his hothead nature into making him a fantastic warrior. Matter of fact, if it wasn't for that hothead nature, he'd probably be commanding next before I would. He's way stronger than I could ever dream of being. And he's like, what type of demon is he? He looks at him and he's like, honestly, he's a new breed. He's half human, but, and half, he's half human and, half demon lord. Half demon lord looks at him and is like, hold on, I'm trying to. He's basically the prince, long removed. She looks in. All right, basically this is under an anonymity anyway from anybody to be able to talk outside this place. So his dad, sister had a kid with a human. The human was a next tier level, probably the strongest magic user we've ever seen. He's and we basically call him Jesse the Barbarian because of some of the older kid stories and stuff about old berserkers and stuff. So, and we basically that's his nickname. Um, that we've got. He's not done by any. and he does know magic, and he's very talented with magic. He's just prefers to be a frontline fighter. And believe it or not, he actually specializes in between of every type of magic, between dark, light, all the elements, among spiritual, a little bit of necromancy, but not much because he's like Sarzac over there. He doesn't use a sentient life of any kind in any of his spells. Um, he just knows so much that, but he would probably be the ultimate magic user if it wasn't for his base personality of being a berserker. He's like, okay. And it's like, she looks back at Sierra and it's like, you might as well have your bodyguard over there um introduce herself, or go ahead and tell us about your bodyguard over there, or your bodyguard that's going to be joining us too. It's like, oh, her name is Purple Lunar. She she's a demi-human to your guys' standards, but because of a lot of things that happened, she in her life, she basically uses high technology to fight. She's a mercenary type. Whoever pays her the most get. But because we worked out a deal a long time ago, she is permanently under my command until I dismiss her. But I still pay her bucket loads of money. Like, but she's a hell of a scout. She's also the pilot in a pilot in the vessel of mine, and one of the best straight up fighters I've ever saw using technology as a base. That is. He was like, right on. Actually, could come in very useful. Look, that would actually be a halfway decent group there. And he looks at the around the table and is like, understood. He's like, well, I guess this meeting is dismissed. Anything and everything is considered top secret. Let your demon lord know of some of the details about this, but anything that we told you to keep your mouth shut about, do so. And I'm pretty sure he already knows that yes, he actually does. And I am a loyalist to him. There's a reason why um, he, Berserker, there's a reason why Berserker was left entrusted to me. And I do have the utmost respect for you. And to be honest with you could actually learn a lot more going to where you need to go. Like, understood. So, you guys go ahead and go over there. Um, we're gonna go ahead and talk to the rest of the party members. Go ahead and get in contact with your bodyguard. Tell us to meet her here, and so we can all have a discussion of what next to do. You tell your man to come over this way, and I would also like you to send two demons with Sarzac over there and Dr. Zay. And plus, I want you to send one of your commanders with him too. The boy that good. He looks ready. He's going. What? Yes, you're going. I'm a military man falling through. I do not want to. You're still going to be a military man. You just be following the. I ain't sending you with him for chicks and ha-has. You're a damn good fighter. You have a good head on your shoulders. You're just a dumbass sometimes and annoying as fuck. He just looks at him and it's like, but you would learn a lot from them, and with your already incredible talents at dealing with bullshit. Why do you always can talk about politics as just straight up bullshit? Because it is. Politicians, all those fucking nobles needs to be get their understand, sir. So, am I on loan to them, or am I? Your orders are to be our liaison to the king, to me and the king. You follow no one else's orders, no matter, just like who they choose needs to have that same authority. Okay. He gets up, puts his arm over his shoulder. My name is Jake. I'm a warrior and a warrior scholar that knows a little bit of healing magic. Nice to meet you guys. The demon shouts out, bring, shouts out to one of his lieutenants that's already there. Like, tell Berserk to go to that designated area, he told a subordinate, and go get Loki. Lokio. Go get Lokio. Why do you always get his name wrong and call him Loki? Because I don't know. But Lokio. You know that ain't even his real name, right? He looks at him and is like, so? I love annoying him. He just jiggles for a second. He's like, alright, I'm telling Berserk to go talk to Sarah. And I'm telling Commander Truelight to go with them. To meet up in here so you can, if you keep calling him or her, you know, not going to be happy. Well, he, she, or whatever he is, or she is. To be honest with you, I never actually figured out. One of the reasons why he never talked to you is because you're an asshole. Is that any way to talk to your general? Talk to you that way because I'm your son, you idiot. And he gets smacked upside the head and gets flown completely back. Just do as I say. I am sorry about that. Um, I am sending you along a basically. She's a changeling. Her name is Nina Truelight. Um, the reason I pretty much give him a hard time because she is in love with my son here, and I just think it's kind of funny. She realistically, she has no gender and can be any general shape, form, or whatever whenever he wants or she wants. Which we she likes to be identified as a she because she finds the female form be a lot more of the human female form liking of most things. So keep that in mind when she's with you. As she walks to the door, it's like, oh, she looks at him. Why do you always give him a hard time about me? It's kind of funny. You know how he always wants to show up to be your protector and everything. Well, my name is Lena Truebright. He explained to me the situation, and I'll be joining the Adventures Guild. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. You'll be our direct liaison for our country. You'll be taking direct orders from the Demon King himself. So, you make that call? I just did. Looks at him for a second. Is like, she just shakes her head and it's like, understood, sir. Did a basic human salute. It's like, go. It's like, looks over there at Sarzac, notices who he is, and it's like, holy shit, that's Sarzac. That's the real Sarzac, the vampire. Necromancer, I'm actually human, you dipshit. I am getting sick and fucking tired of people calling me a fucking vampire lord. Just because I have pale skin doesn't mean I'm a vampire. Just means I don't get out in the sun. And he starts grumbling under his voice. It's like, I'm sorry, sir. My name is Nina Truebright. I'll be working with your guys as a liaison. She looks over to the other dude, and then she looks back at the commander. Is like, if I'm gonna be working with them as a liaison, tell your son, which just walked to the back of the door, was about to say, everything's done. When tell your son that it's over. And no matter how much I feel about him, if I'm going to actually be doing my best work to save the world, I cannot have any, as we both agreed, if something like this was to come up. He walks around and just hugs her. He's like, oh shit. He's like, he looks up and is like, understood. We've already talked about this a long time ago. Yes, I am in love with you, but we both know that this day was coming at some point. Commander the demon general just shaking his head. Fine, you go. You coming with me. We're going to be heading out. And we're going to be putting at sections at different points across all the borders. Because I'm pretty sure that vampire are going to have a few things to say about this and that. Well, after everybody started splitting ways, we are here with Sarzac. Since this is technically going to be part of his first story, we're starting with him first and then going over to Lunar At this point, this is where Sarzak's story is going to be splitting off from Lunar's. This will be on the next chapter with the old lady, but all further things with Sarzac is going to have its own separate story from this point on. Well, anyway, um, he goes around and Sarzac looks at everybody and he's like, okay, I'm the leader. Anybody has a problem with that? I don't care. Dr. Slade is like, this is going to be fun. But as the leader, you guys do other work. I better go to sleep. He tries to walk out of there, and it's like, nice try, Sarzac. All right. I may be the leader of this group, but I will be depending on everybody. And officially, the Avenger Guild leader, Dr. Zay, is still the man himself. And he's still the commander of everybody. Our first set of business is we got to get back to the human territories, get the information out, and then our second thing is we're gonna start heading towards all the different countries around the entire world and expanding all the details between everybody. You understood? What do you mean expand? Basically, our ideal is we're gonna start going with using the momentum after we go to and set up the general everything that needs to be set up between my set of things. We're gonna go to the human territory first, get everything set up for everything, and as soon as we get everything set up and all the stuff that's needed to create our own country without no land, then we're gonna start talking to the different rulers around the entire globe. And that means globe to expand on our power. He was like, understood. Everybody was like, understood. So that's general things. Two, we're going to need everything in all of our ducks in a row when we leave there. We're gonna probably going to be a lot of political mumbo jumbo. That's where I come in. Um, the human guy said, "That's exactly where I come in to help with all the political shenanigans." So our jobs is understood then. Like, all right, we're gonna be heading out at dawn. Get everything you need to get done now. Are we gonna? We're gonna basically be saying our goodbyes, and in the morning we are leaving out. And I'm pretty sure Lunar's group has already left out by now. Like, and something that you need to also send Dr. Zay, somebody to actually teach her to try to keep some of her abilities under control of her demi-human side of her. He looks over there when we get back to the guild building. I have somebody in mind. Like, everybody, let's move out. Get what you need to get done. Make all the ties that you have to make. Because once we get to the human territories, we have a lot of work to do. Because I also have to start developing that technology for all the kings and stuff as well. Like, and he just shakes off like this and is like, have some fun before all the headaches begin. Everybody laughs. Like, right on. Now we're going over to the lunar side of things. Lunar looks at everybody in the group and it's like, all right, you have an hour to go ahead and get everything we need to get done. We really do need to go ahead and hit it. It's like, whoa, I haven't had a time to do anything here. Like, just general concept between everybody in the group. I don't have time to get everything done. What the hell? Um, she looks at her and is like, get everything you need to get done within an hour. We need to go ahead and head out. This ain't a mission that we're going to be taking lightly. She sighs for a second and is like, everybody sighs for a second and is like, understood. Sierra's like, what's the rush to get out of here? As they were walking out, I have a really unsettling feeling of what's that if we don't leave now, if we don't leave now, our mission is going to fail before it begins. And with all the different things that's been going on with me here lately, with all the power hikes and everything, I would rather take care of what we need to do and stop the sidetrack, and we got to get going. I can't argue with that logic. All right. And go ahead and have your mercenary stay in the ship and just have her follow us in the atmosphere. Like, how do you know about that? The village I lived in. It's a connection between multiple places throughout the entire universe. Actually, multiple universes. Look with eyes. Wait, you're not telling me it's that? Yes. No wonder. Look, was it? Never mind. Understood. We'll have the her continue in the spaceship, and she'll be joining us. But she doesn't necessarily have to be in the spaceship for her to the spaceship to follow us. The spaceship does have AI that does work under her command and hers only. Why only hers? Part of the pack. It's a long story I'll get into later. But Purple Leaf is not somebody you want to screw around with. She's extremely logical, and half the times I wonder if she's not a robot, even though I know different. Like, oh, this is gonna be a fun. I mean, we're gonna have a bard. Basically, we're gonna have a bard, a berserker, a the quiet type warrior, me, and the one that keeps trying to sleep with me. She blusters and laughs for a second. It's like, tries. Now's not the time. But, alright. Let's get to here. We gotta get things done because we only have an hour to supply and to get the heck out of here. It's like, alright. And this is where this actually ends today. This video has been split up because of an unfortunate error that happened in both videos. But this is also the official first video of Sarzac's video. But his start of his playlist will start next week. And we'll go into detail who he is and all that stuff in there too. I'm probably going to be doing a few shorts here and there explaining different characters, adding more backstory to them, basically to drum up interest. And if anybody has any ideas or anything that they may want to add, put it down there in the comments. Let me know how you like it. All right, and I hope you guys enjoy the music too. All this music that's been going over here are in different bands I've been in throughout the past, or a friend of mine's bands. All right, peace out, have fun, let's rock on, and see you in the next video or over on Twitch. Twitch TV /Thunder Drummer. If hope to see you there.